Hello and welcome to this week's Old School Q&A live stream. I'm your host, Mod Gambit, and I'm joined on the couch this week by Mod Bruno.
Hey.
Mod Wolf.
Hey.
Mod Tide.
Hello.
And Mod Sween.
Hello.
I'm going to kick things off the usual way with the announcements before we get into the questions. First things first is !Clue will bring you to the Treasure Trails expansion blog. That's actually the update which is happening next week.
Tomorrow?
I say next week. Yeah, this update happening tomorrow even.
Okay, good.
No, it's not been delayed.
Okay.
Mod Tide, do you want to give us a brief rundown of the things we can expect to see in that update? Just an overview for anyone who hasn't seen it just yet.
You have your beginner clues, which also has a new type of clue where you will be helping Charlie the Tramp. You'll have to either gather or create some items for him and bring them to him to complete the step. There is also a new music clue, which is in easy, medium, and hards, I believe.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then there's plenty of new rewards coming your way.
Excellent. Well, anyone who wants to see all of the details, it's !Clue to see that, and that's what's coming tomorrow. There's also the Easter event, which I think you worked on quite a lot as well, Mod Tide, funnily enough. Any sort of spoilers as to what can be expected this year?
Oh, no.
No? Okay.
Sorry.
No, you guys will just have to wait and see.
Figure it out.
You guys will just have to wait and see what's happening.
I bet there'll be an egg punt or two.
Might even be some hidden Easter eggs, who knows?
Maybe.
Oh.
Maybe. Next thing is Deadman. So anyone who was sort of following us, or Deadman as it happened, probably knows it didn't necessarily go the way we'd all have liked it to. In response to all the events that occurred, we have a news post up, which is, you can see it at !Summer Season. That explains our future intent with Deadman. Mod Sween, do you want to give us a brief rundown of what's going on there?
Sure, yeah. So like you said, Deadman didn't go too well. Lots of players weren't able to fight for prize money, so we're going to give them an opportunity to rerun the tournament. We don't know when that's going to occur yet. We need to fix what went wrong, test it, and then arrange for a kind of another production, get the prize money sorted, which hasn't also been confirmed. But we will be going ahead with the summer finals as planned to conclude the current summer season that's running. Not just that, Deadman is kind of going on hiatus until we've got a more longer term viable plan. We know you're kind of disconnected from Deadman compared to when it was first launched and it passed a poll. Like Deadman passed a poll. That's how much players bought into the idea. So we want to get back to that. To help that, we had some influencers and PvPers in yesterday, which I'll talk about a bit later on as well. But Deadman is on hiatus. We'll be rerunning the spring finals, and Deadman summer finals will continue as planned.
Cool, thank you very much. And the last big announcement that we have is, it's sitting right there on the table in front of us. We're very proud and happy and excited to announce that we did end up winning the BAFTA Audience Award for EE's Mobile Game of the Year. That was obviously a huge deal. We'd love to thank all of you for voting and supporting us. That's a massive, massive achievement for the game. And we're super, super proud. A big shout out to the community.
Put your finger for the eye. Put your finger for
voting for us. And there it is, in all its glory, in front of Mod Wolf's face. So yeah, thank you very much for that.
Context on the award, if they're not too familiar, it was entirely voted for by the players, or by the communities for any game. And you love Old School RuneScape more than Fortnite players love Fortnite and all the other games that we beat.
So that Fortnite.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much.
Fortnite in particular. No, there was obviously massive, massive games that we were running up against. Not just Fortnite. I think Pokemon Go was there.
Roblox as well. Clash Royale, Brawl Stars.
Yep.
Yeah. So obviously a massive, massive achievement. Thank you very much. So that just about covers all of the announcements. I guess we can just crack on with the questions. Everyone's happy to, unless we've got anything else. Our first question is one that's come up quite a lot, not just like over the recent days, but maybe for a few weeks. It's been on players' minds, I'd say. Seen it in a few places here and there. It's from Every Player Ever, and they ask, "Can you hide poll results?" How do we feel about this one, guys?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Right, we'll move on then. Next, our next question is from.
No, we should probably actually talk about it. We should probably actually talk about it. There we go.
Psych.
Yeah. So Ash has been working hard with myself to get into this week's update. Essentially, poll results will be hidden until the poll is closed permanently. So it's not like you answer and then you can see them. It's that they'll be hidden for the next poll that we're hoping to get out. I don't know if I can give a date, but the next poll that we do will have poll results hidden. Tomorrow, all poll booths will be disabled temporarily while we do some live testing, because the way our live systems work are, oh, this camera's on, I see the light. The way our live systems work are a little bit different than the way they work on the back end, so we just want to double check that in live first. You guys won't be able to play about with it and stuff. We'll let you know when it's back up and running and stuff. And other than that, oh yes, also the web page, of course, won't be visible for a poll until after it's been closed as well. So that's how that will work. What's Wayne?
So on not telling them when the next poll will be, the blog kind of alluded to the next call poll. So we're aiming for Friday.
Ah, okay, yes, okay, there we go. Yes, we are aiming for tomorrow, not tomorrow, Friday, yeah.
So the first poll due to be sent live with hidden results is going to be about older content. If you remember the message to the community post that we posted a couple of weeks ago now, I can't remember the exact date.
Yeah, so end of March. And it's called, I think it's still active. If you ! big blog, I think that's what we put the command as.
What a cool command.
That was the one.
So it spoke about hiding, I don't know, it spoke about poll results and like a longer term stuff. Fixing existing content rather than putting new content through, and explaining why we want to do both at the same time and why we feel we're capable of doing both at the same time. Player support stuff and PvP generally. And I think we are, is that, maybe the big blog's not active, never mind. It's on the news module from around March.
Check the archive.
Yeah, go to the website, click news, and you'll find it. We reckon end of March.
Okay. I think we're slowly working our way through that as well. Player support, we had a meeting with them recently actually, or about 20 minutes ago, about the toxicity stuff that's covered in there. I think they're looking to release a blog about account security towards the end of the month, but it might be the start of next, but they're actively working on that. PvP stuff, I mean, we're addressing Deadman, we're pausing it until we're comfortable with making the content work for you.
We had people in recently?
Yeah, we had, yeah, that's a good point. I mentioned earlier, I completely forgot again. We had influencers and people from like notable clans based quite locally into the office for Monday and Tuesday. A whole session dedicated to not just Deadman, but PvP generally, what they want from PvP. Polling, and we released the blog 20 minutes ago, and we just spoke about this stuff now. So I am feeling very good and very confident about
making good on the promises that we made there, which is a good feeling, I think, for everybody.
I'm drinking crab blood. I'm having crab cake tonight. We're going through the list. There's no, you know that meme, man beating up that crab. That's us right now. We're getting through it. We're nearly there. Nearly done.
Nearly. So yeah, like we say, one of the promises there was revisiting older content, and that's going to be the first poll due to go live on Friday. The poll blog will be live at the end of this stream, talking about some of the smaller changes that we're going to do to look at older content. And it explains there that these are sort of just in the meantime changes, in the beginning of us looking at fixing older content, to sort of solve the issue of us getting suggestions from social media a bit too much, and getting a wider view of what the players, what you guys would like. We're going to be conducting surveys and opinion polls, and hopefully getting thousands of responses rather than just a few hundred comments of input. So that's going to drive us revisiting the older content.
Yeah, it's definitely worth pointing out. It doesn't end here. Like just because we've hidden poll results, we still want to address concerns about smaller communities not having stuff go through that might be better for their community, getting it out to more people in the game through different methods as well. So it's not just hiding poll results. We have more to do, but it's a good first step.
If you read the blog, which is !hide results, it talks about trying to make voting more accessible or easily to do rather than visiting poll booths. That's what you want to do. We just want to get more people to vote. How we do it is up to you, and we want to, like Wolf said, tackle niche communities, getting the content they want if it's not impactful towards others.
Yeah. So all looking rather good, if I may say so.
It feels good. Let's end the stream there.
It feels good, man.
Let's stop right now. We're on a high. We're good. We're good, John.
All right, now we won't.
Thank you all for coming.
All right, cool. I will crack on with the questions then. So our first, I say genuine question. Obviously, hiding results has been a genuine question for a while. Our second question is from Lunch Zero Guy. They ask, they say that the ranged and melee ghosts at Cerberus have very similar silhouettes. Could you update the model of the melee ghost to have a helmet or a shield so it stands out better? I'm not pro enough to do Serb, so I don't actually have an opinion on this.
They've got weapons. That's.
I thought we had something already, but if it's not obvious enough, yeah, we
It's
can.
a small change to make it a bit more obvious.
Yeah, we can do that. 100%.
Not making the mechanic easier.
Yeah, of course not.
I think because, like I said, I think we already tried to do something for that. I guess that one's just not obvious enough. Yeah, sure.
Some people are saying no. Like, I'm not sure why.
Why no?
And all you say, well, now they're all going to say no.
No, yeah, no.
Why? Why though?
I think generally, like with colorblind stuff that we do, this is one of those things that we just do. It's important for all players to be able to access the content.
Somebody said get better eyes, so maybe we go with that answer instead.
It ruins my colorblind only Iron Man.
Ruins my 2020 vision. Okay. Funny. Do you want to look at the name of the next question?
Oh God. Okay. The next question.
The next question is from Squinty. And they say, could we get a peace treaty as a reward for completing Song of the Elves? You could show it to your Slayer Master to get them to stop assigning elves as a task. It doesn't make much sense to be a friend of the elves yet still slaughter them by the hundreds, or just make it an unlockable perk with Slayer points upon completion of the quest. Thoughts?
I don't know if we're planning on doing this, but I saw a couple of replies to that question, which is do what RS3 do, which usually sounds quite bad and ominous, but I think if you fight elves in Prif, it's more like a duel. Rather than killing them, they just, okay, say you won, here's the reward, and you get the kill.
Yeah, I prefer that as well because I wouldn't want to just remove the task from a task list. So
I also don't mind killing elves. I'm the sort of person when I'm playing a fantasy game, I'll play as a human.
The reason I didn't like it was just I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get removed from the task list more than anything.
I mean, having the option to remove it for a cost of Slayer points seems fair enough because it's not really a great task anyway. But I don't want to promise or confirm anything, but I know we are considering something like the suggestion whereby you have a different tier of elves in Prif, or have them in such a way that you're fighting them maybe in a training arena kind of thing where it does make a bit more sense lore-wise. You're not just going around and murdering the good guys.
Why not?
Poseby asks, they're asking about the Mimic. Quite a long one, but I think in short what they're asking is, will the Mimic that's coming out tomorrow as part of the Treasure Trails update, this is the new boss, will it act or behave like a Mimic as it does in other games whereby you unexpectedly encounter it when you're opening a casket? It sounds like it's not going to be that way, and why not?
So originally it wasn't, and then from feedback we investigated doing it. So we did look into trying to make it so, you click on it and you immediately get teleported and stuff. A couple of problems with that. The first one is obviously forcing it to do that to people who might not be high enough level isn't really fair. And that's just entirely like nerfing Master and Elite clues. And arguably, your highest level if you're doing them anyway. But it seemed unfair, firstly. But then the more important reason was, I think players call it pafting, but we call it like I don't want to say what we call it. But essentially, giving the player an ability to teleport from anywhere in the game and to reappear anywhere else in the game was a little too dangerous for us. We didn't want that risk there. So, for example, you're in the Mimic boss area, or I don't know, you're opening a clue casket somewhere, and and it randomly teleports you. Let's say you're in an instance. We have to then remember, oh wait, there were an instance when they opened that. We have to teleport them back and reopen that instance, and it opens up the possibility of too many bugs for something that really didn't add anything to it. On top of the fact that the Mimic has a unique mechanic where if you leave the fight, you lose a reward. Right. So it also felt like, I'm doing my clue. It's a random amount of steps. You don't know how many steps it is. You get teleported to the Mimic and you have a full inventory of teleports. You go, right, I'm getting ready to do combat. You leave and you miss out on one part of your reward immediately, just because. It didn't seem fair. So there's a couple of reasons when we were creating it, that's why.
So how does it work? Is there a confirmation message? This casket is a Mimic, or is it a special casket?
When you open a Master or an Elite casket, after the release of this update, you will be told, hey, if you want a chance to get a Mimic, go to Watson's house and talk to the
You won't
stranger.
always have this option. It's a rare sort of chance for this to happen.
Oh, no. The first time you attempt to open a Mimic or an Elite all, you are warned that to have a chance of getting a Mimic, you have to talk to this casket in Watson's house. And you can say, I don't care. And you can just open your casket and you won't get a chance. Or you go to Watson's house and you say, yes, I do want to be able to potentially get this. And then you open your casket and you have a 1 in X chance, depending on Master or Elite, to have it turn into a mimic. And if you have a mimic, you then go back to Watson's house and you give it a strange casket. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
There we go. So that's how that's going to work and why. I do like the mechanic whereby you can try again sort of thing. I know you only get a certain amount of tries, quote unquote, if you die or leave the mimic boss, but for reduced rewards. It's quite a nice touch, I think.
Yeah, the chances are the amount of rolls that you get. So with Masters it's 6, with Elite it's 5, and of course each time that you fail or you leave the area, it goes down by 1. If you're a high level clue hunter, you're probably going to get all rewards after you've fought it one time, truthfully.
Alrighty. Okay, this next question is a two-parter. It's from a player called Fopper25. They say, in the Hosidius rework, the bank seems to have moved away quite a bit from the Catacombs exit, making it a considerable nerf to gold per hour of the Dust Devils down there. Could you maybe add a deposit box by the entrance so we can at least bank our loot? Does anyone have an opinion on this? It was with an O, not an A, chat. I don't actually do Dust Devils much, so I don't really know if this is even...
So where
I'm sorry, I'm not going to lie. Can you say the question again? I was looking at the chat.
I can. So, as part of the Hosidius rework, it looks like we're moving the bank further away from the Catacombs exit. So anyone who's looking to run and bank their Dust Devils loot is now doing so at reduced
Oh,
GP
no.
per hour.
No. Yeah, Mod West actually raised this to me earlier. No, we're not doing that. The Dust Devils aren't meant to be as profitable as they are anyway. We've already said in the past that we're planning on updating drop tables of creatures. We are definitely not intending to make it as good as it already. It's already great, right? It's already brilliant GP and Magic XP and Slayer XP. I mean, losing an extra, what, a couple of 100k? Sorry. That's life.
Okay. Their second question is, they say back in 2008 or so, a feature was added to RuneScape that after a level up, you could click on the skill guide of a skill to see what you unlocked with the new level. This was very useful when training combat or doing other activities where you'd miss the level up message in the chat box. Can we get this in Old School?
I
don't
don't know,
have
can
an issue
we?
with this.
I don't know, but I wouldn't mind it.
I think it's quite a nice one. I mean, if you're in combat, it's quite typical that you'll miss the level up message.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
so,
the flashing skill icon.
So it would require a full rewrite of the way that our level ups work. Moded was actually rewriting that a long time ago as his training, but then he got put on Dragon Slayer 2, and then he got put on another big thing and another big thing, and here we are like a year and a half later, and we've not pushed that thing out yet. It would be possible after the rewrite potentially, but even then it would need more rewriting because of the way the interface works, and the way that Ed's been rewriting it, I believe, wouldn't allow for this. So it's a big job for kind of little payoff, I think. But for newer players, you could also argue, new players on mobile,
Yeah, it would be very useful.
might be useful. So
Could we put something in the chat box? You've unlocked this. So currently it's like, congratulations, you've leveled up. And underneath that, if they want it, perhaps a toggleable, could it say you've unlocked? Yeah, so it would be a mesmer. It'd be like you've unlocked the ability to wield whatever.
potentially,
Okay.
potentially with the change that Ed's doing, yes. But it's again, it's been held off that change for a little while.
Okay. Garbled says that since the Moss Giant boss is one of 2 free-to-play bosses, it seems strange that it doesn't drop any free-to-play items. It would make sense for a free-to-play boss to drop a unique item in free-to-play. What do you think of this?
It does drop free-to-play items, just not the unique, right?
As in a unique free-to-play,
So
I think that's
like the
what
club.
they're trying to get at.
Yeah, we
like a
polled
big
that,
marquee
didn't
drop.
we? It was polled originally.
The staff.
Should it be free-to-play? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the reason we were worried was just botting, I think, or I don't even know why.
Remember.
Um,
I wouldn't be averse to it if there's a good idea for an item. So Rock says it would poll and it failed, which rings a bell.
yeah, I was pretty sure it failed the poll. But if any of the suggestions that everybody unanimously wants, I'm sure we'd be open for it, right?
I do have a comment from Mod West on this. He says that as both of the free-to-play giants are weak to mage, maybe it could tie into warding, potentially. So maybe like a drop, which is then used to create something, maybe like a new mage armor or something warding related. That'd be really cool as a unique drop from a free-to-play boss. But that's sort of way off into the future. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Sounds like we're open to the idea. So our next question is from Dragoon. They ask if there'll ever be any expansions or upgrades to Zogas in the future.
Maybe if we choose to do a Zoga quest expansion, but as with every Q&A thread and every tweet and Reddit thread we see, people want continuations of other quest lines.
Yeah.
They want to see goblins explored further, sea slugs and the Knights Templar further, the White Knights further. Now Zogas. I mean, we can choose one. Currently, we've chosen elves. We're ending that one.
Yeah.
You want Desert Treasure too? There's lots of threads about that too.
We filled in a lot of prayer gaps the past couple of years as well. A lot of different bones are now in the game, and it's like, do we need more Rogue, Org, and Ferg bones? I think it's that one. It's I'm not too sure what
So the answer is maybe, but it depends what quest line we choose to expand on next. And ideally, rather than us making that decision internally, which I think we did do with Dragon Slayer and Song of the Elves, we put it to the players and say, which big quest expansion would you prefer?
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's probably the right way to go about it.
Anecdotal, I can't imagine everybody voting Zoga. But
However, the idea of Drogas sounds epic. Oh, think about that. Dragon Ogres.
So Dragon Slayer 3, combine the Dragon Slayer quest line with Zoga.
Like a really fat, you know when you see like an 18-year-old dog that just is really overweight and it lays over, you're like, oh, he's a good boy, that kind of thing. That's what I'm imagining.
Sounds horrific.
Could be an expansion to the experiment place.
Okay, no, I see it.
Could be. I actually have a comment on this from Mod West as well, who says that he's Mod West is boarding mad at the minute. Like everything is like so focused on making this content exciting and good for you guys. He's got another sort of warding related answer for this question. He says that he'd love to add a new, well, maybe even a few new undead bosses to tie into warding, the new skill. And Zogas could feature in that. Potentially more uses for things like Crumble Undead, which is sort of underused, I'd say, at the minute. Just as options, so he's exploring this kind of thing. So yeah.
So lots of players, first time you mentioned warding, there's lots of spam about warding hasn't passed yet, and you're quite right, it will be subject to poll and it hasn't happened. We've seen the revised design compared to what we've shown at RuneFest, and it is looking so good. We're hoping to get it to you quite soon. So I would ask you to reserve judgment until you see the revised. A lot has changed. Like, we kind of purposely kept the announcement pretty vague back in October, I think it was, just so you have the opportunity to contribute to it. And it's looking good.
It is looking exciting. There's been a lot of feedback taken on board, lots of discussions and research done between, well, ourselves and you guys, so it is looking exciting. Guardian of Eden, cool username, says, can cutting fish from barbarian fishing be automated like it is from aerial fishing?
It could be, but people don't really do it much because you don't really get much out of it.
You just drop it.
Yeah.
Usually all 3 tickets.
Yeah.
Who's actually, I mean, what you get like sort of, what do you get from it again? Like
The fish.
fish.
Caviar, roe, and fish offcuts.
Make barbarian potions great again.
Okay. I mean, I guess we could. We've been looking to automate several processes recently, but I don't know if that's one of the ones high up on the list in particular.
Just 3-ticket forehead. I love it. Like, just don't be bad.
People 3-tick with fish, but even then, you don't really need automated because it wouldn't help out 3-ticking. So.
They also ask a second question, which is there was a post a month or two ago about a middle ground item in between the anti-dragon shield and the dragon fire shield. Are we still interested in this? How do we feel about it? Like maybe a anti-dragon kite shield or something like that?
Be interesting.
I saw that good idea on Reddit, the one where it was like after you've done Dragon Slayer and like, I can't even remember what it was, but it was like if you get a smithing level or something, you can get like an adamant kite shield equivalent stats with the Dragonfire capability, but it's like, I just didn't know what it fit in. I guess a free-to-play shield when killing, but you can't kill dragons, so it's like, I don't get it.
I remember I think it was literally the Dragon Square Shield being pulled to have the Dragonfire effect, and that failed, so... I don't...
That didn't make much sense though, and that was a blatant merch, I think.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
Yeah, he's got 50,000 in his bank. Come on.
Yeah. I guess it's for people who can't quite afford a DFS just yet.
The thing is, they are quite cheap, and I think if you kind of makes sense to have one between. What does the anti-dragon fire shield, anti-dragon shield require? 1 defense,
Yeah.
and the DFS requires 70, 75.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to have something in the middle. But then would that then make the DFS even cheaper?
I just never wear it.
Yeah,
like
that's-
I'd wear a defender and do Dragon Slayer 2 with like a level 1/1, right?
Yeah.
And then
you got
get
the
my
pots.
potion
Yeah.
at the end, right? Like I don't even care about my shield anymore.
Fair.
Like it's just too niche. Even it's too niche. I
Okay.
think.
People are saying Iron Man or
blowpipe the
Zerg
dragon.
accounts.
Okay, that's fair. No.
I'm more attracted to the Zerg account aspect of the Iron Man.
Same.
But so a new build would be pretty cool. Give them the viability to go and actually kill stuff.
Okay, so it sounds like we're probably leaning away from that because we're not sure what kind of niche it's going to fit.
No, I'm open to hearing why though. Just let us know as usual. Just tweet us or something.
Cool.
I'm sure there is a way that we're not thinking of, like the heat of the moment on the Q&A with 10,000 people telling us that you're silly for saying that one thing. So yeah, let us know.
Cool. So Petrifying asks if we can allow skill capes on Intrana. I'd like to use my farming skill cape effect on the hops patch, they say. The only skill cape that could be useful other than farming is the fletching skill cape, which allows you to take out a bronze crossbow, but this can already be done by taking in logs and a knife and fletching it. Skill capes on Intrana. Is there any harm in this? Is it a messy bit of like code that we don't want to touch?
I don't really want to do this.
Yeah,
What do you
I
think?
don't feel there's a need. Like, you don't need to use skill capes everywhere.
Wait, doesn't the farming cape work anyway there? Could I be wrong? I'm sure we did something that was like, oh, that just works there anywhere.
I don't know.
I can't remember. We did something like that.
Would the monk guarding the boat or allowing passage via the boat look at your cape and be like, actually, you got 99, so for you I'll make an exception. But usually it's no capes.
What about if it's a 99?
Okay.
I don't think the monk would say that. So
He might let the 99 farming cape, but an attack cape. He'd be like, the hell, man? You attack stuff.
And I
Enjoy
swear,
that
it's like,
murder.
get off my island.
Exactly.
Hops and Megalol in chat.
Yeah. Hops are worth a lot of money right now, aren't they, if you actually farm them?
Are they?
Hops are really profitable right now because of, help me out, what do people use hops for? What's that thing?
it was birdhouses, but then we made the change to allow herb seeds, and I think hop seeds have fallen in price, but I might be wrong.
No, actual hops themselves. They're
right.
used for a
Really?
new...
Wasn't it the hardwood trees? Or...
we released the new tree with the farming guild that requires hops.
The redwood? No.
No, redwood dragon fruit.
See,
It was mahogany
tea.
trees. No, it was mahogany trees. Yeah, it was ages ago. It was mahogany, you're right. It was ages ago, yeah. It's like,
All right.
they're relatively profitable.
So what? We think this is probably harmless, but not necessarily needed. Okay, cool. The Adamana says, can we get a little icon that indicates whenever someone on our friends list or in our clan chat is on mobile? Replying is a pain and it'll let people see why we're not.
We
Why
can.
is
Initially, we
It
were
requires...
against
it requires some work from
Okay.
people that aren't the content team.
I remember so I remember back when we announced mobile all that long time ago, and we had like a special mobile Q&A. I'm pretty sure that question was brought up, and we didn't want to do that. I can't remember why.
Oh no, I could have sworn we said that we wanted to do it.
Okay, I might be misread.
Oh, maybe...
I think it was to do with you'd be able to add people to the friends, see if they're on mobile, perhaps if you're in the wilderness or a PvP world or something.
Do you have your private on?
in the wilderness?
No.
Anywhere?
True.
I hide my private's off. It's not even on friends. It's off. I don't want to talk to people. World's largest single player MMO. Like, don't talk to me.
Okay. I worry that some people would probably get exploited in some way, but other than that, I don't know if it really is that much of a nice to have. You can probably make the effort to send one line to say, I'm on mobile, don't talk to me.
I don't. I usually
You know?
ignore PMs I get.
Or just turn them off, yeah.
Maybe like a quick response if you're on mobile.
Is
And you get
I was going to say, like, Is adding this icon solving the issue of it not being so great to talk on mobile? Sounds like that's probably something to solve separately.
If anything, people might avoid talking to you, but that doesn't really solve it.
Feels bad, man.
It's not on mobile. I can't be bothered to talk to him right now, but yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
A question similar to this, which I've seen, is could we get some kind of indicator in the friends list, in the friends list, which shows when the other person has you added as well, which would be useful for sort of clearing friends lists of users who aren't online these days.
you can quickly check if you join their clan chat and it's open.
That's a good shout.
That's, I think, the only way to check. The only way I know is check.
That does require you going through each one individually. to see.
Don't add 400 people.
Yeah.
Don't have too many friends.
That's the only thing I can say, like.
So we're rubbing it in.
All right, I'll move on then. Mr. Path asks if the shades in the last level of the Stronghold of Security could be given normal XP rates.
Have reduced.
Yeah.
Oh, it's probably because they used to be a random event, right? And random events used to have it reduced XP. It's just a parameter. We could probably do that.
Oh.
We could make it have regular XP if people wanted. Yeah.
I wasn't worried, didn't.
I think it's because it used to be a random event, and
Sure.
random events used to give less
Yeah.
XP, and when we retired it there, I think.
Okay.
So it probably just still has the thing that says don't give lots of XP on it. So we can do that. Oh no, everybody's saying no, don't do that. But it's possible if you guys want it.
Okay. Cool. I actually have a comment from Mod West on that, who does actually, it seems to be the case that it was because of the random events thing. He also says it might be worth buffing the Gather Hammer so that it outdamages the Dragon Scimitar and a Defender when you're on Shades. I guess that makes sense. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Gather Hammer's a weird one. It's only using like the one quest, isn't it? And then like
Get it in the quest,
Yeah.
never use it.
It'd be cool to see that thing used a bit more.
Upgrade to make it one-hander.
Kungfind says, could the Dragon Haster be buffed for use against dragons? Currently the Leaf-Bladed Sword is a better choice if you don't have a Zamorakian Spear or the Abyssal Dagger. Dragon Haster, is it good enough? What do we think? Do we know how many players actually use the Dragon Haster?
Not many. Does it need to be better?
If it's underused?
A lot of things
Lots
are
of
under.
stuff are, yeah.
I was going to say,
true.
dude, if we're going to be buffing everything that's underused in our game, we're going to be here a long time, all right?
So
We need to start with circles. Yeah, exactly.
Thorax hammers.
was it made to be useful? Because obviously it's nice if something's useful, but not everything is made to be useful in the game.
Is the leaf-bladed sword 55 to wield?
Yes.
And this is 60.
Mm-hmm.
And it's stronger, it's weaker than a leaf-bladed sword, despite the fact that it's a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually think that's the Dragon Haster being weak. I think that's actually the leaf-bladed sword being strong, but I don't want to change that. So
I think Leaf-Bladed stuff is strong, but I'd leave that where it is.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, do we just overbuff the Haster to a point where it's on par or something? At which point the rest of the Dragon equipment's out of line? Like, it just seems weird. It's fine. Sometimes things are going to be not as good as others. That happens.
Okay,
I think that's the answer to that. Sadly.
Probably not looking to buff that then. My dad is bald. Not my dad, he's fine. That's the name of the user. They say, will you add a toggle to rotate the screen on Old School Mobile? That's the first question of a couple.
I remember initially we just wanted to make one interface, then it's easier for us to work on and make one interface work well.
Yeah.
But I have seen players use other software to rotate the screen for them. And if players are doing that, then it becomes a question of should we facilitate it ourselves? I don't know what the answer is.
You want to be looking like you're on Twitter and not on RuneScape when you're on the phone. It's like, oh, I'm just looking through Twitter. Yeah, it would require a redesign of the interface. It would probably require some back-end stuff as well that we couldn't do content-wise, because it would require it would need to detect when you do this, right? And we can't.
Think of all the interfaces that have to be redesigned.
I know. Well, we did that. Well, yeah. Darn it. it's not very possible right now, but it's not impossible. That's
How do other interfaces? So if I haven't tried playing vertically. I might try it just to see how it works using current like third-party software. If I wanted to open the bank, for example, will there be lots of overlap with maybe chat boxes and sidebars as well? I can't imagine it looking great, and then we'd run into those design problems as well. And then then we'd have to manage 2 different interfaces, and it becomes a lot of work for a minority of players. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just trying to communicate the kind of things we have to think about before we say, yeah, okay, we'll make another interface.
no, yeah.
Another
'Cause
way
I,
of
read,
playing.
I was giggling because I read the chat. That was my mistake.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh, you're like laughing at me being non-committal.
No, of course not. No, you're never committal. You never commit to anything.
I do want to apologise to anyone in chat I sort of inadvertently offended by saying my dad is fine because he's not bald. There's nothing wrong with being bald. It's a good look for some people. It's just my dad's not. That's all. Didn't mean anything by it. All right, I'll move on to the next question from the same player then. Still mobile related. They also want to know if Old School Mobile is going to be made compatible with a normal computer mouse. How do we feel about this?
I feel really bad with these questions. Again, it's one of those that like we can't personally do content side. I think it's definitely something that I think people would like, right? But I don't necessarily know if we can. What?
We get requests for like. Obviously, I understand wanting a remote keyboard and stuff for mobile. I'm just imagining someone with like a mouse and a keyboard for mobile. It's like get a computer. You know.
It's not that funny. But you laughing is making me laugh. It's not. People are no. The thing is, right? No, I get this. The thing is, mate, you have a phone already, right? I have a phone, right?
Yeah.
And I want to play Old School Mobile. No, this isn't.
Windows tablet.
This isn't funny. No, why would I spend more? A wireless keyboard and mouse is like what, 30 quid? I'm on the train. I'm going to London. Phone down. There you go, mouse and keyboard. That's why, mate. It makes sense,
get that,
right?
I get that.
Why can't you take your laptop on a train?
We don't all have laptop money.
Good point.
You got a phone. Phones are like more expensive than laptops.
Yeah, but the phone is my life. This has a lot of. This is scary. This thing, but a laptop.
All right.
All right. Okay.
Did you just don't be poor, forehead? Like what the heck?
Not what I'm saying at all. Just okay. I'm gonna move on. Oh.
You okay, mate?
I'm all right.
Okay,
I'll be all right. Ben Toki asks, can you give demonic gorillas a... don't send me off, dude. Come on. Can we give demonic gorillas a PJ timer of sorts? It seems like every time one goes off for me, a second when it goes off for me, a second when it goes to melee and it gets stuck behind something, another one attacks me and I lose my kill.
I think it's more of a par thing rather than
Yeah.
the PJ timer. It is annoying. I encounter it too. But then to accommodate for that, I just make sure I position myself so I know it won't get stuck. But if you can fix the par thing without having to do that, that would be a better solve.
I'm pretty sure it has one already, actually, as well. That's why I'm more. I'll need to double check, but I actually think it has something similar already built in. It might just need upping a little bit,
Okay.
perhaps. So yeah, we can look into that one.
Cool. The next question is actually something I wanted to comment on anyway, and we'll put out official comms, I think, to clarify this.
Your dad is bald.
So Tabatron asks, when can we expect a Bounty Hunter rework as promised back in late 2018? So far, Bounty Hunter has received some qual changes, but seems to have been placed far back in the backlog in terms of the overhaul. So I do want to address this actually and let you guys know what's happening. So obviously we announced it in RuneFest, last year, 2018, that we would be reworking Bounty Hunter, bringing it some sort of like fresh new mechanics and features, rewards, you name it. It was going to be in there.
And before we get called out, we also announced it the year prior to that too.
Mm-hmm.
So while we're being candid, we announced it 2 years consecutively.
Right. So I wanted to give you guys a status on this. We are keen to get the design sort of ready and show it to you guys and have it put into game. The only thing is, for us, we're revisiting the whole strategy for introducing PvP content into game. We know there is an issue whereby the PvP community isn't necessarily popular with all of the other communities. And for that reason, a lot of things tend to get shot down in the polls. We know this is a thing that goes on. So we're looking for the right way to implement PvP changes and make sure that players who care the most about PvP are the ones giving the, not just the designs, but then also the vote on whether or not the things go into game. And before all of that is done, we're not actually able to release Bounty Hunter because we know pretty much what's going to happen.
But whilst we solve the polling issue, I think we can do more to make the concept of the design
For sure.
better.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't expect to hear nothing until polling's done. In the meantime, we can iron out the design and make sure it's what you want and it works for us too.
Yeah. Like you mentioned sort of earlier, Sween, we've had players in to discuss PvP content and ideas with us. We're going to keep doing that, and Bounty Hunter is one of the things we're happy to keep on the table and working with you guys to design.
And it won't be the same group of players that we had. It would be people who engage with the content. Also, people who don't engage in the content, because a lot of people who play Bounty Hunter want more people to kill, and they want more people to play Bounty Hunter. So it makes sense for us to talk to those potential victims or killers.
Cool. So that's where we're at on that one. Kiz the Shiz. Does that mean anything like... I don't think so. Says, spiritual creature slayer assignments are unlocked after completing Death Plateau, which doesn't make sense since you can't get into God Wars Dungeon after Death Plateau. Is that the case? What do they mean exactly by that? Am I missing a trick here? They say, can this be changed to partial completion of Troll Stronghold? Maybe after defeating Dad, since that's what you need to do to get into the God Wars dungeon.
I assume that's what the player was alluding
okay.
to. Like, just because you completed Death Plateau doesn't mean you're able to access it.
I think you can though. It's just a
I
really
don't know.
convoluted. It's just very convoluted to get there that way, but you definitely can.
Right.
You just need the spiky ones. I'm sure of it. I just think that most people associate it with the other quests because it's like way easier to get there after the teleport. But it's definitely possible. I'm sure it is.
Okay.
What's his name? Shout him out. Call him out. What's his name? Where is he? Oh no, I'm not reading that out again. Never mind. But I'm pretty sure you can.
Why? It's not,
Wilderness God Wars Cave as well.
okay.
Yeah.
So what, we wouldn't... So we're not going to change it to partial completion then? Because, I mean, that would at least save people having to go the long way around then if you can actually do it. I've got some people
Just do
saying...
the quest, bro.
Some
Some
people
people
saying
saying it's not possible.
Is it not possible at all?
Maybe you should see if it's possible and then talk
And look
about
into
it.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll look into it after the
All
stream.
right, we'll table that one and move
Take it. We'll look into it.
on. Blobby Gold says, what are the chances of having Moss Giants given an extension for Slayer tasks and also having other Slayer masters assign them? I understand they're not technically Slayer monsters, but I enjoyed getting them as tasks so I could get Mossy keys, and even at a high Slayer level. I wish I could do them as a task.
You might enjoy them, but I doubt many other people will, which is why I'd rather not add it to the task list.
Fair.
Mod Bruno, both the people.
What about just a general
Yeah.
giant extension? So they could choose Moss Giants if they want to.
Yeah.
You have to unlock it, and then people who don't enjoy it
Yeah, that's fine.
don't have to buy it.
I'm always happier with a middle ground.
What's the pun name for a giant extension?
Oh, I don't know, like
Big boy.
Bigger and better?
I think we have that one.
Yeah, we got that one.
Ah,
For the
mistaken.
Superiors.
We got that one for superiors. Somebody in the chat will come up with a good one. There we go.
All right. Morphins asks, oh, no, someone asking about poll results. Okay. Well, we are far enough into the stream. If you missed the beginning, !hide results, I believe,
Yep.
will lead you to the announcement that we put out just before we went live on the stream. We are...
The thickening.
Bossy Mossy.
I like the
suggestions
thickening.
coming in now.
Which one?
The thickening.
My word. !hide results, if you haven't seen it already, will bring you to the announcement that we put live just before we went on stream, saying we are going to go ahead and hide results on polls. Whoop whoop. And yeah, we're going to be running the first poll with hidden results, hopefully on Friday. Turbo Mongu asks if Mod West is intending to slowly rework the general layout of all the Zaya houses after Hosidius rework is released. They think Shazian and Piscarilius need some attention in terms of layout and identity. How do we feel about these houses in Zaya?
It does feel empty.
I definitely agree with Shazian. Like before the updates, it was just a massive, just empty land.
Shazian still is. I think Shazian's
Yeah,
still
yeah.
empty.
That's the
Like,
worst thing I
Especially-
think of.
it's like, because there are all these tents.
Yeah, what makes it worse is all the tents and all the graves. Like,
They are huge, the tents, and also you go upstairs and in one of the tents there's a massive table as well.
I think he wants to, at some point, go through them, right?
You've got the comments from
I
them, haven't you?
Do have a comment from...
The last time I actually used the Piscarilia's content was, do you remember the game bug where you could get thieving, lots of thieving XP from...
Oh, when we allowed the teleport?
Yeah.
Before we blocked that.
Like, that's the only time I've been there since I got Favour, if I'm perfectly honest.
The last time I did it was for the achievement diary, which required me to do that again. And doing it legitimately was I was like so annoyed. I was like, well, I wish we left that bug in.
I really enjoyed that bit of content. The XP was too high. I mean, if we were to revisit the mapping of that area and make that more feasible for like a thieving method rather than RD Knights, then that would go hand in hand quite nicely. And would probably make it easier to justify why we were reworking one big area of the game if people would go there and use it as well.
Sure. I think that's one of the...
I wasn't exploiting, I was testing.
For
Ban him.
2 mil XP. We did get 2 mil XP.
Thorough test.
We're kidding.
That is one of the best things I think about. I think there is about Mob West's work into the Hosidius rework is it does make it feel less empty, you know, less sort of grand and spacious without any stuff in it. Everything's sort of placed and mapped in such a way that there's stuff everywhere, which does look great. It would be cool to see that for the rest of Zaya as well. He actually comments on this question. He says he has a plan already for Lovacaine and Arceus. He's yet to look into the other two, but it would make sense to give them a polish as well. He's also reaching out to you guys to say if you have any specific issues you have with those areas, do let him know. It'll be a big help. He is at JagXWest on Twitter if you want to ping him those suggestions.
I think they all need a bit of a rework, but I wouldn't prioritise those two over the other ones. But
Don't worry about it.
No one tell him. Our next question is from Olympia. This question is not very well put. They say that rooms that you place upstairs already fill the open doorways, so I can't imagine it being... I feel like I've been posted half a question here, unless you can make sense of this one.
Let's have a look.
They're asking.
Is this anything that we implement in the game?
I feel like the actual suggestion itself is missing.
So I can't imagine.
It's very unprofessional. Sorry guys, give us a sec. Can you make sense of that?
Is this any way this could be implemented in game? Yeah, I think it has the actual question goes. Rooms that you place upstairs... Oh, no, actually, no. Rooms that you place upstairs already fill the open doorways, so I can't imagine it being too difficult. I guess they might be asking, can rooms be put downstairs and automatically fill the rooms in between?
Right, that makes sense.
That's what I think that's going to be.
Okay.
So the question is, hey, if I move a room downstairs with Ash's awesome system that allows us to move rooms, which I still am in awe about every time I see it, can the rooms be filled in between? There you go.
I don't know.
Wouldn't be as simple as doing the upstairs one, because if it did, then everything would be shut and you'd be stuck in your house.
Yeah. It's not as easy, I think, but it's more of an Ash question, I'm afraid, that one. Sorry.
Okay. We also have a question from Eb Mara. They say, on the collection log for the clues, can you make Gilded and Third Age into a separate category?
It can be done.
As it's now essentially impossible to complete the hard, elite and master sections because of this.
They're never meant to be completed.
Yeah, they're part of the actual clues, but
Yeah.
it can be done. But I don't see it shouldn't be done.
We can do it if people want to.
But
I can see that it would trigger me a little bit if like I've got
All of them except...
all of them except Third Age and stuff, and especially because it's shared across multiple collection interfaces.
Yeah, but it's not every tier of clue though.
But across 3 of them, half of them, soon half. I can see where they're coming from.
Yeah.
It would look cleaner. I definitely think that. It's a bit inconsistent, but to be honest with you, that collection log's sometimes inconsistent in general.
We did sort of declare from the beginning that the collection log isn't designed to be a completionist log. It's not, you know, we're not expecting you to tick off and complete all of it. If you do, congratulations, but finally you'll need RNG and a half to make that happen.
But if it is a small, easy, non-impactful change that makes a niche player group happy,
Do it.
then why not do it?
Like it's still going to track it. We're not removing it. We're just putting it in a separate subcategory, so that if people are like, oh look, I've finished my elite section, except from Third Urge and Gilded, right? Like, I think that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just don't forget to
Think of all the
include-
sexy screenshots. That's what you have to look at. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Great.
I'm open to it personally. I would probably leave that call to Mod Lenny, see what he thinks about it. I know his intention was to have it sort of as it is, but perhaps he can be swayed if enough of the community want it.
yes.
So our final question, I realise we're a little bit early, but we don't actually have all the questions that we want necessarily, so we might have to be an early finish this week, sorry guys. But it's from Manda Toru, and they say, when we do the Hosidius house rework, will we also take a look at the mess hall? As it's right now, there's lots of room for improvement. They say you can only take out 1, 5, 10 or 50 items, or take X. You have to manually change X to 14 if you're making stews. Why not have the game either remember what value you had X to be, like banks do?
It's not on the remit of the Hosidius rework, but it's actually a relatively small thing to have it remember which one you last did. We could do that for sure, just as a generic change. That's not promising it with the Hosidius rework. That's just as a separate suggestion. That's something that we can do. Yes.
Okay.
There's also questions in the chat. Oh, I've tried looking out for ones.
Yes.
Someone asked about adding stats to the Champion's Cape. I'm quite averse to it because we added that, I think it was only last year,
As a cosmetic cape, right?
and we added it strictly as a cosmetic cape, and it's quickly scaling up to people wanting a max version, people wanting stats on it too. So we did it because players wanted it as just cosmetic was the initial pitch from the players themselves. That's my opinion on it anyway.
I agree.
That's fair.
Yeah,
No, I feel the same way.
Use for extra spiritory seeds, useless after 99 farming, 200 mil, potentially to skip contracts in the farming guild.
Good.
Was a suggestion there.
Good.
It does
Maybe.
feel bad to have an item that becomes useless after a certain point.
I'd like to do something with them, I just don't know what
Don't
yet.
know what.
And
Yeah,
we're
that's
reworking
fair.
contracts anyway, I believe, so maybe wait until after that rework before we decide to do something for that.
That's fair. I've seen one asking, I've seen actually this come up quite a lot, is can we have Hydra tasks assigned by Duradel? How do you feel about this one? Or should they stay Konar specific?
I think Kieran previously mentioned this one. Like
Yeah,
do you remember?
don't remember, but I personally wouldn't mind it. But that's sort of like the point of Konar, to get
That
Hydra
was-
tasks.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's like it's Konar's speciality along with her
Yeah,
keys, right? You don't, the more that you take away from her, the more that you gut her as a viable or desirable Slayer master. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
same way that if you want Inferno and Fight Cave tasks, you don't go to Konar.
What
That's
else
totally
we got?
fair. Fixed Thameron Scepter, we see that one quite a lot.
That person's got lots of them. They say fix it, but the only suggestions I've seen are making it like pretty damn OP.
Hmm.
Is Mythic max cape an option? Again, Mythic is quite useful.
best slot crush.
Yes, so there is a case for it because it's got a best in slot bonus or something. That one I'd quite like to see. I've seen some mock-ups and it does look very cool.
TOB pet metamorphosis, I've seen suggested. I was in the chat being spammed quite a bit by a few people there. So you'd alternate between every boss rather than just the one. But I think we'd have to look at how many people actually have the pet and if it's worth spending the time doing it.
I see someone talking about the Hydra tail there. So we left that one. We were thinking of having an alternate reward for the Hydra tail, so something you could combine it with to upgrade it. Currently, it only makes the Bone Crusher necklace, which is considered maybe a bit underpowered for how difficult it is to obtain. We offered the Bone Whip at the time, which we actually decided. Actually, did we end up polling that one, or did we pull it?
We
pulled it.
I think we pulled it
the ball.
because we weren't happy with the design at the time. It felt maybe a bit rushed. And we suspected, based on the reaction, it wouldn't necessarily do that well. It didn't fill the niche we wanted it to. I'm open to making the Bone Crusher necklace better or stronger. I think at the moment it's got terrible stats. It doesn't even compare to a Glory. I would probably have it at a sort of Fury level. That way it's a bit more usable, at least.
What about the jar drop rate from Skitizo?
I saw that one a little while ago. I wouldn't mind lowering it a little bit. It's one of those, you can't get tons of them, can you? But it's up
Really low as well.
to players again, that one, I think, because that one's not it's a cosmetic.
What is the drop rate for the...
1 in 1,000,
Yeah.
which is the same as the
Right.
other jars. But obviously, the pet is 1 in 65 to accommodate for the fact that you kill very few of them in comparison.
Yeah.
So, I don't necessarily think people would desire it, though. That's the issue. But, yeah, I'm not too sure.
That's fair.
Like, some things have to be farmed. Is that really weird?
It's got to be one of the rarer pets, though, surely, given that you have to do all that farming to...
No, the pet's very common. The jar.
Sorry, the jar.
Golden Pleb, who was actually asking a question quite a lot, said 1 in 2,500.
Oh, it's 1 in 2,500. I'm pretty sure it's 1 in 1K. But if it's 1 in 2,500, anyway, it's still really high. Nevertheless, those are high numbers for bosses that you can't kill lots of.
A few people talking about Group Iron Man. We have not announced it. Like, it's something we've said that'd be quite cool to do. We see an appetite among the players and streamers, but we're not committing to it. It needs engine work to facilitate it. Then it will need a lot of content focused about what will allow, how we'll allow accounts to interact and stuff. So there's no update on it, other than we know that some people want it. We'd have to poll it, and we don't have the capability to offer it right now.
Fair. Sorry to go back to it, but actually someone there in the chat has just made a point. It's currently the best in slots melee necklace, the Torture, comes from Demonic Gorillas, which is arguably not as tough to get as the Bone Crusher necklace, given that you have to have completed DS2, grinded it from Vorkath, and then got the 95 Slayer requirement to get the Hydra Tail, and killed the Hydra boss enough times to do it. So maybe that is actually a reasonable justification to have a better or new best in slots necklace item with that. Maybe make it on par with Torture or better.
Not a fan of that.
Not a fan?
Not a fan at all.
Not a fan?
No.
Please no.
I don't even want it to be matching
know-
glory stats, mate, to be honest with you.
Why is that? I think it's, given how tough it is to get, I probably wouldn't go as far as that, but
It goes back to the Dragon Haster discussion we had earlier, right? Like, not everything needs to be the best thing in the game, right? So let's pretend in some mystical world we did create a new best in slot with that item, like you said, right? Then, you've ruined the Zenite necklace. Can you buff that to make that better? You get in this infinite loop. Like, some things need to be worse than others.
no, I'm
That's
aware
how it works,
power
right?
creep is an issue,
And like,
for sure.
that was the item that we've went, hey, you know what? It's not the best. That's fine.
No, but it has its niche.
Yeah, it has its niche use for lazy players who might be bursting things and want their prayer never to drop.
Use it on mislayer tasks.
Yeah, and it's like, that's fine. Not many people use it for that. That's also fine. Like, not everything needs to be the best.
That's reasonable.
Firelight is on Phoenix Pet.
I like that suggestion, but I can't remember. Have we said yes to it before? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I definitely, yeah.
Somebody asked why we didn't hiding poll results like we did previously. I think it's because the reason that we're removing them is that you all felt that your vote was being impacted by seeing the poll results be visible. So we did it as an integrity change, which is ! Hide results if you haven't already seen it.
Cool. Well, I think that just about brings us to an end then. I'm going to call that a wrap. If you missed the beginning, we won a BAFTA Audience Award. Thank you very much for EE's Mobile Game of the Year. Thank you so much for voting and supporting us in that. We're going to go ahead and hide poll results. That's a thing now. ! Hide results will bring you to the announcement.
To remind you, you won't be able to access the poll booth tomorrow.
Yes, for maybe a few hours, depending on how long it takes. !
Clue brings you to the Treasure Trails expansion blog. That's the update going out tomorrow.
And also Easter.
And Easter is happening
Easter's
tomorrow
out
as well.
So we got big update tomorrow.
Yeah, no, big day. It's been a big week, really. All sorts going on. So yeah, I'm going to thank everyone on the couch for joining me, and you guys for joining us as well. Hope you have an excellent week, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.